cut pulpis here. Something that I have noticed, very fascinating, that scholars and a lot of people, you know, that study history or study religion, they know that there are many, many gods in different cultures. I mean, the list is huge. There are as many gods that we create with our brains. But of all these gods that are shown, the list of gods, they fail in Western civilization to actually mention the living gods, the rulers, they were viewed as divine, as gods, the people that really existed over 2,000 years ago. And of course, I'm talking about Alexander the Great. He's never mentioned as a god, but he was viewed as a god. And then, of course, the divine God and Savior Julius Caesar and the subsequent sons of God, which were the Roman emperors from Augustus on. No. These are the gods that atheists and Christians do not believe in. Look at the list. And the last one is Yahweh. Christians believe in Yahweh, not the other ones. But guess what? Of all these gods, where are the Roman emperors? Where's Alexander the Great? Where is Divus Julius, Julius Caesar, and the rest of the god emperors? They had temples and had all these ceremonies and all their religions. Where? Well, they were believed to be gods, but they are not in the list of gods. This is the problem with archaeologists and historians and everyone today. And the reason is perhaps because they existed. And they have monuments to prove that they were viewed as gods. While Christ and the rest of the mythologists have no proof, no evidence. Perhaps that's the reason ignorant people believe in them as gods. The list of temples in the vast Roman Empire. Look at this, in Italy. And this is just part of it. There were like 1,600 of them, including the one in Jerusalem, which is a temple built by Hadrian, the one in the Dome of the Rock, built to Jupiter. Look at this. None, zero, to a Christ or any Christian or any stupid Jehovah God or nothing like that. All of them are to the divine Roman emperors, beginning with the Holy Father Julius Caesar.
Resurrection of God Caesar from the flames taken into heaven by Nike. And here is his temple built in 29 BCE. And the other temple of Caesar, right next to the Colosseum. Here's the temple of Antoninus Pius and the way it looks today. Here's his resurrection, taken also by Nikes to heaven. Here it is, Antoninus Pius, with male Nikes taking him to heaven. And his temple was converted into a church by despicable Christians. And then here we see the temple. I am in front of the temple of Antoninus Pius. Here is the temple of the divine Claudius next to the Colosseum. All these guys, they were considered sons of God.
The psychopath Constantinus
In the 4th century.
turned this basilica, this area where used to be a Mithraistic temple, into this Christian church that would be called St. Peter's. Deception had started.
1,000 years later, the despicable popes, deranged men, turned the building into a center of deception, mutating historical facts. St. Peter was built, and the Vatican. In front of the Vatican, there is an obelisk which represents a penis.
I'm here at the Vatican. Amazing, and he hasn't fallen apart. He hasn't fallen apart.
On top of the penis of the sun god Ra, there is a star of Venus and 5 glands, penis glands, because masturbation, the river of life, created created the universe, and poppy seeds resemble penis, uncircumcised penis, and here is the God again, which I call penis Christ. And, you know, we see here in Rome, it was nothing pornographic, it was simple a God. And the head of a God is recreated here in this post, exactly like that. And the female's breast is also produces the river of life, which is milk, equated with the semen. It were the same liquid in ancient times. Christians copy it, and here is the Virgin Mary shooting her river of life into the mouth of the saint.
It's beautiful. But they were gods. They were viewed as gods. Is it perhaps because these people really existed, and the only people that are mentioned as God is the figments of imagination and this creation of the imagination of men through many centuries, including all my ancestors in the Chibcha tribe that used to wear nariguettes. Interesting. Why these Roman emperors, gods, who built temples and monuments, and that they were divines, and they resurrected the dead, they ascended to heaven in a great apotheosis, proven by the monuments that we can see with our own eyes? Why historians don't mention this? Why are they given the claim as gods, like the people in their time accepted them and believed for them to be gods, as the Christians of today in this 21st century believe in a zombie, in a resurrected zombie, to be their Lord and Savior. And they believe that snakes talk too and people walk on water. In this 21st century. Why historians don't mention this?
Here is proof the ancient Romans believed the son of God Trajan was a god, the same like Hadrian here, the son of God Hadrian talking. Here is resurrecting the dead, flanked by an angel of victory.
Ancient people used drugs to see God. The ship of mushrooms, Amanita muscaria, peyote, Peganum carbala, ayahuasca, and adananthera, the Claviceps purpurea, the fungus that infects yeast like rye, and when you eat it you can see God, and survives baking, which in the 1940s the Swiss scientist Hoffman synthesized into LSD.
Notice the scepter of the prima porta statue of the Son of God, Augustus. He has a poppy seed, poppy flower, on top. Poppies were considered sacred. The Romans used many entheogens, and they use a patera. Here is on the right hand of the Emperor Hadrian, a patera. Here it is in the Arapakis, as I said before, in the shape of a flower.
These substances make anybody see God. And my observations, and it's my belief, and there is evidence to that effect, that all religious books were created by people under the influence of entheogens or drugs since 40,000 years ago. But they were written, their visions in their caves, the paintings.
In this 21st century, the science of neurology clearly shows that thoughts of God and other delusions are created by quadrillions of axons communicating with each other inside our brains.
The science of neurology clearly tells us and proves through experimentation that we evolved mutated primates, created God with our brains. We are in the 21st century, not the 5th. So, religious beliefs are simply a form of mental retardation, a neurological disorder. And the whole world should be made aware of this. They are the cause of all the problems. 82% of the people in the United States are infected with christ-psychosis, with this delirium that makes them think like people in the 5th century. We are in the 21st century, not the 5th. Gods do not exist. They are a product of our brains. Pace Deorum.